Incredible game of football to watch from the sidelines. A game that you appeared to be in control of at one point. Ultimately, though, was it wrestled from your grasp?
Yeah, I think you say this correctly. It was an equal game, but the moment we were 2-1 up in the second half, I felt as if us scoring the third one was more realistic than them scoring the 2-2. But from the moment onwards when they scored the 2-2, I think momentum swung their way. And then they scored the third goal, so which was also a close margin. These games are close margins because two very good teams on the pitch. And unfortunately, we didn't score the third when we had chances to. And after the 2-2, they did score the third goal.
You said before the game tonight you made changes because you wanted to look at people that hadn't had a lot of football time for you, look towards the future. Despite the result, did those people take opportunities tonight to show you they have something to offer for the future?
No, I know these players already for 10 months, so it's not the first time I'm judging them. But it's nice to see that Harvey scored a goal. He had an assist, not the most difficult one, but he had an assist. Great goal by Dominic Szoboszlai. And Federico had a few good moments as well, especially if you take into account how long he's not been playing. So unfortunately, he was one of the players that had the chance to make the 1-3 when Mo squared the ball towards him. And so yeah, in general, I think it was a good game from both sides. Two very strong teams wanting to play football. That's also what you not always see. These both teams wanting to play football, no time wasting, no time delaying, just play football. And as a result of that, we saw a great game, I think.
And tonight, despite the result, you've set a Premier League record, the first team to score 2+ goals in 31 Premier League games. What does that tell us about the firepower and the options that your side have?
No, it's not only firepower. I think it's also that we create a lot. Because if you want to score a goal, you have to create a lot. And Brighton today, also, by the way, the same. They've played out from the back very well, but we've played out from the back also multiple times really well. Yeah, and then you can bring your attackers in promising positions. So it's not only that we have players that can score a goal, we bring them also so many times in those positions that it's not a surprise that we score so many goals.
Just finally, talking about the future, Jeremy Frimpong, rumoured to have had a medical. Are you able to shed any light on whether that be true or not for us this evening?
What do you think?
Well, it's not up to me. I'm not signing him. But Arne, you're the man who might know.
I think what we all know is the moment we announce it, that is the moment to talk about it in general. And we haven't announced anything, so no need to talk about anyone.
Thank you, Arne.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well,
we await confirmation. What's he learnt tonight, Arne Slot?
Probably not too much. He just said that he knows the players well, even the fringe players, sees them every day. I think his answer at the end was probably quite telling in terms of they don't just have goal scorers, they create a lot of chances, and that's why Liverpool have won the league. Defensively, Arsenal are a better team, but in terms of goals and chances they create, they still should have scored 3 tonight at least. And I think that's now 31 games out of 37, they've scored 2 or more in a Premier League game, which is a record, I think, in the Premier League as well, which is pretty outstanding.
And that's why they're champions.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why.
So there we go. Good to hear from Arne Slot. Not too concerned about the result, beaten 3-2.
We certainly did. But as we mentioned beforehand, when you're champions with 4 games to go, and I think they virtually admitted it actually when Michael and I were there doing the show at Anfield that day, the next 3 they just wanted out of the way, and now they're out. There's going to be some party when they get the trophy and medals.
Yeah, well, it's details, it's little margins which decide games. And if you haven't got the last 2-3% of urgency, which they hadn't had for the last 2-3 games because they're already champions, then you lose these games. And if they needed to win that game, maybe we would have seen a different outcome. But credit to Brighton, they had to do it. They did do it. They were behind at half-time, turned the game around. But, yeah, as Mike said before, probably a good time for Brighton to play Liverpool.
Isn't it incredible, though, when you look at the Premier League in general, and we talk about 1 or 2%, if you're just 1 or 2% off, then that happens. It is so competitive. We've seen Manchester City almost fall off a cliff this season in terms of their performance. Just, they've been absolutely at the pinnacle of their game for so long, and then they just drop a little bit short, and teams take advantage so much. Liverpool's chance today, or Liverpool's turn today, I should say. But it just shows you just got to be so on it every single week. And that's why winning the league is so hard. It's a war of attrition in many ways. And now they've won it, they can relax a little bit, just drop off a percentage or two, and you'd think there'd be enough to coast home. And they only pick up 1 point out of the last 9 or something like that. I mean, it just shows you that everybody is right at it every single week.
You can't take anything for granted. And that makes the achievement even bigger, because we know how hard it is to win a game 2-3 on the spin, to win the league by more than 10 points. When people expected them to finish in the top 4, maybe challenge for top 3, it makes it even more remarkable what they've done this season.
Yeah, and still just 3 defeats in 33 Premier League games for Liverpool. Now, these two gentlemen were debating at half-time when Dominic Szoboszlai gave Liverpool the lead just before the break, whether he intended this or not. You were undecided. Did he was adamant that was a cross?
Did he thought it was a cross? I said, gun to my head, I'd say it's a cross, but I wasn't 100% sure. But well done to Szoboszlai for coming out and being honest about it, saying it was a cross. I wonder how many people that were watching the telly were screaming at the telly saying, no way, you two don't know what you're on about. It's definitely a shot. But yeah, I was undecided, and I think credit to him.
Yeah, I think he tried it to whip it in the inside of his foot, and the ball just didn't take the spin. And this is why it went straight, and obviously he probably couldn't have placed it any better, even though the keeper probably should have done better.
OK, very quickly, here is the man himself, Dominic Szoboszlai.
There were lots of wonderful moments in the game. What about your goal? You looked a bit sheepish in the celebrations, so there's been a debate whether you meant it or not. Talk us through it.
No, it was a cross, to be honest. I'm not going to lie. And yeah, but happy to score and help the team.
There you go. 1-0 Haman over Owen.
No.
We wouldn't have shown it, would we? If he said it was a shot.
Well, we don't know. But you were right.
Yeah. He's a good boy. He's honest.
Let's finish talking about Brighton. We touched on the 32-year-old manager coming into the Premier League. Barring a disaster, they're going to have a top 8 finish. And when you look at the clubs above them, is that about par for where you expected?
I think so. I think where they expect to see themselves, they're not just happy being a Premier League club anymore. They're looking at bigger and better things. They're probably looking at the likes of Nottingham Forest, flying high, and they may think, do you know what, we could even do that next season. They've built a great foundation now to go on and really push. They're getting some incredible players. The recruitment is there for all to see. We've spoken about it so many times. But they've got some real talented players. There was a time as well where they probably had to sell a few of their top players as well to balance the books. We've seen that. They've got some great assets themselves now. But no, this is a team that I think are looking up rather than looking over their shoulder from now on.
Let's get a quick word then with the winning manager. Here he is, Fabian Herzler.
We've had some great moments in this season, your first season in England, but is that right at the top of the list tonight?
Well, there were a lot of highs and also lows during the season, so I think it's important that you don't overreact or don't get too euphoric after these moments. It's very important to stay so grounded, to stay humble, to keep focus on the work we have to do, because there's still one game to go. But I'm really proud of the performance from the team, how they stick together, how they showed the belief, how they reacted on the setbacks during the game. So overall, it was not a perfect performance from us, but we always showed great character, and I think that's very important, especially for this young group.
But it's hard to stay grounded, isn't it, when you've just beaten the Premier League champions, and in the way that you did it, having to come from behind twice?
Yeah, that's what I said. So it's not only about playing a football game and tactical side, it's also the mental side, and therefore we stayed always together. We showed character, we showed personality. We had a really young squad on the pitch, and they reacted quite well on the setbacks in an impressive way, and that's what we always try to emphasize.
Jack Hinchelwood joins us live now from the American Express Stadium. Good evening to you, Jack, and many congratulations. How did that feel? And that wait must have been tough for the goal to be given.
Yeah, I think obviously, first of all, just coming off the bench, I wanted to come into the game and make a great impact and just work my hardest. And yeah, I think the ball come across, and you know it was set up perfectly, and obviously tapped it in, and then there was a nervous wait until the goal was allowed. But when it was allowed, it was just pure relief.
We can show you the goal, actually, Jack, now, and it's interesting because it's your cousin that makes the near post run as well. I think he was trying to get on the end of it.
Yeah, I think obviously it was a really nice moment today coming on with my cousin. You know, we've been working so hard since we were kids. I think playing together from the ages, you know, when we were just born, kicking balls with each other. So to come on together, and obviously he's made a great run across the front post to open up the gap for me. So I'll be thanking him later.
Very, very special moment. And he was, of course, now Brighton's youngest ever player at just over 17. Now, your celebration tells us something as well, Jack. What can you tell us? There's some good news.
Yeah, I think I've been due a goal a while. The missus has been banging on at me to get the celebration in. So we've got a baby on the way. So we're really excited. And yeah, it's my first one. So excited to be making a family together.
That's amazing. What a story at the age of 20 as well. And you're from this incredible football dynasty. I was just telling the guys before, your dad is Adam. He's the manager of York with this huge playoff game tomorrow night as well against Oldham. It's quite the week for you.
Yeah, you know, amazing. I think I'm so proud of all my family, my cousin tonight, my dad, who's obviously got a massive game tomorrow. There's a 5-hour journey, but I might try and make it up. We'll see. But we all just try to support each other as much as we can, and we just love football. At the end of the day, it's what we've all done since we were so young. So you know, to all be in the professional game is a really nice feeling.
Jack, you've had a brilliant season. You played lots of games for Brighton, but probably similar to me at your age, you play lots of positions in there. I mean, how have you found that? Do you think that's sort of almost a bonus for you, or do you think that might have to change going forward if you want to nail down one position?
Yeah, I think obviously I've played a few different positions, and you know, I just try to work my hardest every day. Whatever position is going to get me in the team is the one I'm willing to play. You know, I won't shy away from a challenge. I'll play whatever position the manager or my teammates need me to play. So it's just a joy to be out on the pitch with them.
Can you just explain about, you know, what the manager's brought to Brighton this season? Because obviously you've had really top managers in the past, obviously looking at De Zerbi, who we follow, but at times it's been a little bit bumpy in terms of the streaks that you've had. But, I mean, you've got a chance of European football on the final day.
Yeah, I think obviously we've had a few tough spells throughout the season. I think these things happen when we have a lot of new players, a new manager, we're all trying to adapt to his style. I think he's brought a great freshness and intensity to the team, and you know, I think the main thing is we're all together. You know, we go through these moments together, and I think, you know, over time we're going to come good together, and you see we can produce moments like tonight, and we just need to produce more moments like that going forward.
Jack, you've looked a natural at the Premier League since you burst into the team as a very young man. And tell us a little bit more about your cousin Harry and what we should expect from him moving forward.
Yeah, I think he's got great ability. He's been working so hard this last month. I'm just so pleased for him because, you know, he's been grinding away in the background, probably not had as much, you know, time in the playing team and training and stuff like that, but he's been working so hard and not let it get to him. So for him to get that moment tonight coming on and, you know, play a big part in the goal is really special, and I'm so pleased for him.
Well, congratulations on a brilliant night for you and your football club as well, and good luck as well to your dad tomorrow night. Send him our best wishes.
Nice one. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. That's the match winner tonight, Jack Hinshelwood, who, of course, got the winning goal, but tell us what a difference Matoma made when he came into it as well.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, look, I just want to take you through this to start with. I've been so critical at times this season. These are the Liverpool players that are all there ready to press. Of when teams get it wrong playing from the back.
Well, we were talking about it with West Ham earlier, weren't we?
Yeah, you're thinking, to be fair, there's nowhere to go here. Just clear that. And the Liverpool, they'll set front six are all over those Brighton players. And it's absolutely brilliant, this. You think there's nowhere to go. They're all ready to pounce. They're all ready to jump and press. And just want to watch Curtis Jones here now, who's with Belieber. And he thinks that Ayari's going to play it, and he just slips it in there. And he takes 5 players really out of the game. And from that moment, he just opens the whole game up. But from here, they just attack, as any Brighton team would over the last 2 or 3 years, with real pace. Matoma, as you say, Dave. He changed the game. He was absolutely brilliant. Welbeck gets the shot away. Maybe Alisson could have done better with that when he made so many great saves. But it's wonderful play, this, from back to front. And, you know, we do give teams criticism when they don't get it right playing out from the back, so they deserve credit when they do it right. And this was wonderful. I'm not quite sure what Konaté's doing. He comes over too early and leaves Welbeck. But Mitoma always carries his run on, which every great wide player will. And still a bit to do. It's a great finish.
Rob mentioned it in commentary. We would have seen a lot more of him in the last 6 games had he not had these heel and calf problems. You could tell the difference that he made, the quality that he brought to Brighton.
He's just a class player. And I was thinking of the lad who moved to PSG. I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Kvaratskhelia?
Oh, yes. Yeah,
he's almost got...
Kvaratskhelia.
Yes, whatever his name is.
That wasn't right either.
But he looks that type of play, just the first touch just kills the ball. I'm sure he'll be involved later on. We're looking at goal of the season as well for the one that he got. I think it was against Chelsea. It's just, when you see him control the ball and the ball gets switched to a wide player, I don't think there's many wide players in the Premier League whose first touch are as good as him. And he definitely made a huge difference when he came. And he's been a brilliant player for them for 2 or 3 years, hasn't he?
Yeah, certainly has. 28 tomorrow. Let's have a look at the winning goal then. We've seen it with the man who scored it, who had an anxious couple of moments waiting for the verdict. You were pretty confident here, Gary, when you saw it, I think.
What, that he was onside?
No, he was onside, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
No, he wanted it to be onside.
Look, Quansah doesn't do that well with his first clearance. And then they just set it up a little bit. He's patient here, Mitoma. He just slips it down the side. And we'll see it from a better angle just now. This is the great angle. I mean, as Quansah clears this first one, he then gets involved on the second one. And he just steps up. Watch him step up, Quansah, in the middle. He steps up there. Watch him this next movement. Yeah, and he steps up there, he plays offside, and then he can't get back in.
It's a lovely little finish, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Listen, a good goal from their point of view. And listen, these are the margins. This is what VAR's for.
That's Virgil van Dijk, though, all day long. That you see, Virgil van Dijk always gets back and clears that one in that sort of
Yeah,
post.
he does. And you know what? Throughout the game, I said before the game, I was really interested to look at the 2 centre-backs. And I actually thought Jarell Quansah did well until that goal. Listen, he could have done better. It's offside. We're talking inches there. But I wanted a bit more from Konaté tonight. You mentioned on the second goal. Now, I know, listen, the Liverpool players have been away and they're not at the best, and it's not as, the intensity is probably not there, and it's probably a little bit easier to get at the back four than it would be as normal. But even on the second goal, Konaté does something a bit ridiculous. He comes flying out of position to try and press when the ball goes over his head. And I've just always had the feeling, with all the centre-backs who've played alongside Virgil van Dijk, I've almost wanted to see them on their own for a period. I haven't, because I want Van Dijk to play every week, but I've almost thought, playing against one of probably the best centre-backs we've ever seen in the Premier League, I'd love to see them on their own, and I want a little bit more from them. Not in terms that you made a mistake, we all make mistakes as defenders, but almost that leadership that I was talking about. I used to say this about Joe Gomez, I used to say about Matip, say about Konaté. Now, I'm really interested to see them have sort of 10, 15 games without Virgil van Dijk and be the leader at the back and organise people and make people around them do better. And that was certainly lacking from Konaté, especially second half.
He was watching on with the rest of us.
Casi a producto nuevo por semana, producto bonito que, por supuesto, pues siempre invitamos a la gente a que consuma. Si queréis encontrarlo en kingsleague.pro, pues ahí tenéis las nuevas chaquetas training y también esas camisetas especiales con detalles dorados que llevan todos los equipos.
Oye, ustedes tendrán más memoria que yo, pero ¿cuánto quedaron la última vez que se enfrentaron ellos?
3-4 ganó 1K.
3-4.
En el histórico de estos dos equipos, el que gane desempata, porque han ganado 2. El X-Boyer Team ha ganado 2. 1.
Weger se lleva el rebote. Weger para marcar. Weger. El rechace de Arne.
¡Vamos! ¡Vamos!
¡Gol!
¡Vamos, Pablo! ¡Qué suerte!
Mascarra en el Cooper Arena. Gol de Pablo Weger.
No será capaz, ¿no? ¡No será capaz! ¡Qué cabrón! ¡Qué cabrón!
A ver
si
salen
sacan
dos.
más de 3, se quedan sin trabajo. Mira,
¡Hombre!
muy bien. ¿Cómo
Bien.
valoran el trabajo? Bien.
Ahí está ese ataque por parte del X-Boyer Team. El toque dentro de Weger. Puede marcar Carbó. ¡Gol!
¡Vamos!
¡Gol! Pablo Weger. Weger que quiere poner el centro por delante. Finalmente lo pone por detrás del defensor. Carbó la pista. Carbó.
No jodas.
¡Madre mía! ¡Es que es el mejor de esta puta competición!
Por algo es el corona la juega atrás, no se decidió a tirar. Granero busca su perfil, Granero.
Golazo.
¡Gol! De 1K. Marca Granero. Y sí, otra vez lo ha vuelto a hacer. Buller, mira. No,
gol doble. Gol doble, claro, porque tiene sanción. Ah, claro, vale.
Sanción, efectivamente. Grande. Claro que sí. Bueno, sinceridad ante todo. Ahí está. Juanma el toque. ¡Gol!
Vale.
¡Velilla! ¡Gol! Balón que lleva ahí Plumins, el disparo. ¡Gol!
Vale.
¡Gol!
Me gusta. Está haciendo un buen trabajo defensivo, ojo.
¡Granero!
¡Uy, qué golazo!
¡Qué chicharro de Mar Granero! ¡Qué barbaridad! El recorte de zurda y el disparo con la derecha. Que la metió en la escuadra. Ojo ahora que ataca el X Buyer Team. ¡Gol! Pegar Fuad en la falta.
Santa madre de Dios.
Sí. Vamos a ver ahí esa pelota dentro del área para Juanma, que lo puede matar. ¡Gol!
2 de Juanma.
¡Gol!
Sí, no podía ser otro que Roger Carbó. No sé si te imaginabas que tu vuelta iba a ser de esta manera.
Pues la verdad que no, o sea, ha sido la vuelta ideal. Hat-trick, partido de octavos y mañana jugamos cuartos, o sea, ha sido ideal. Aunque el trabajo no, o sea, me lo llevo yo, pero el trabajo es de todos. Hemos trabajado mucho y al final los resultados se han visto reflejados en el campo, así que muy contento.
Parecía o puede parecer que sois el rival más débil por todas las bajas, pero en los pasillos se comenta que nadie quiere enfrentarse a vosotros.
Bueno, a ver, yo escuché una persona que dijo de Gigantes que quería enfrentarse a nosotros, así que mañana a las 9 no te preocupes, que estaremos aquí con muchas ganas, y más después de esas declaraciones. ¿Sabes por quién voy?
Yo no lo sé quién es.
No lo voy a decir, esta persona lo sabe.
Bueno, pues enhorabuena.
Muchas gracias.